Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cat Plus channel. We've got a good show for you tonight. ComicConnect has their 63rd event auction, and they've got a lot of good stuff in there, and a pretty remarkable X-Men cover, if I do say so myself. That cover to X-Men 150, the oversized book that it was always one of my favorites. And I own the end page to that book, so while I'll never own the cover, at least I get to see where it's going to wind up as a auction. Not too far from now. So let me bring in Micah and not so new guy Harry, and let's get this thing started. Here,
hey everybody.
You know, and
like I'll never own that cover either, but it's fun to hang out with it.
Yeah. Well, I saw you know, that nice video clip. You've done a couple shots and stuff holding that cover, so I am jealous.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I went to pick it up in person from the guy who had it.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those great stories. He wasn't an art collector. He had a few things, but nothing really. Mostly a comic book collector. Bought this in like 1984.
Wow.
And just kind of put it away. And nothing else he had was even close to as good as this. Most of the rest of the stuff he had was later. But I was like, what? Huh? He was like, yeah, I saw it. It was like $200 and I bought it. And I was like, well, I guarantee you'll make money. I make very few guarantees. But I feel confident. I mean, with the bidding now is already, but I felt confident telling him that he wouldn't lose money.
I remember
$200.
Sent this collection. We were flipping through it on the drive down to Eurocon, and we were looking like, okay, this is cool. This is not too bad. And then Micah gets to the last piece, which is that one. He goes, X-Men 150 cover. What could that be? And then opens
like
it up.
X-Men 150 from like 2004 or something.
And his jaw like hits the floor. And I was like, I can only imagine then that it's the X-Men 150 cover. And sure enough, it is.
That happened again very recently, so we'll have something fun to talk about for the next auction.
Oh, good.
Where we randomly got contacted by a guy, and like he was like, "I got this. Is that of any interest?" And I'm just like, "Yeah."
Yeah. It's always fun to know
a person or two.
Require no work.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Well, there haven't been a slew of second run Cockrum covers come out. You know, they're out there. But
what did he do? 10? Second run? Like that? 8, 10?
I should have counted before we started.
No more than a dozen. I don't think it's that many.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head. Sorry, X-Men people.
And I will say, I'm not an X-Men person, so maybe someone's going to correct me on this one. But this, I think, is solidly in the running for the best of the second run Cockrum covers. I think there's absolutely an argument that this is the top of the heap as far as those go.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Jason D'Ambrosio to tell us how many covers Cockrum did in the second run?
That's a good question. Yeah, no, I'm looking around just trying to see market data wise. I mean, already that is like the 6th highest price for a Dave Cockrum X-Men cover. So that's not
wow. Including first run?
Yeah.
Wow. Not that many of those.
That's true. It's one of those situations too where the guy was like, what do you think it'll sell for? And I'm like, that's a real good question. I know I had a pretty good idea what the floor was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to predict the ceiling on things like this because it honestly just depends how much a couple people want it.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean,
you're right. My floor, so he was happy with that. Because it's one of those things where it's like, well, if everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong, this is what I think it's going to sell for, and it's almost there now. So.
Yeah, if bidding ended tonight, that would more or less be.
Yeah, it would be real close.
Right. I mean, you go in there, you can guarantee 150 without any issue, and then you could tell them it could go up to 350.
I thought that there was no way in the world that this cover wasn't 150. What it is from there, I don't know. We'll find out in like 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the auction ends on Thursday next week, the 18th. We'll say that over and over again over the course of the show. I just got right into it today, so.
I made a ticker for it.
Yeah. I was going to start with I want to say thanking you for putting my art in your gallery.
Ah, yeah, you like that, huh?
It's cool. I don't, it's not the worst drawing I've ever done.
It's the first and only piece by you on Comic Art Fans.
It's true. It's and somebody.
There are a couple more out there, so if people who have
there's lots more out there. Most of them live in my house.
Owned by you.
So we can say that you are not well collected yet.
No, but hey, I'm throwing it out there. I will do 5-minute commissions for anybody who wants one at shows for like $10.
Okay. He doubled his prices.
I have doubled my prices. I did 2 of them in this year for $5, but that was more of me thinking that the person wouldn't take me up on it, and then they did.
Hey, but the story you drew was awesome.
Hey,
I'm happy to have it in my collection.
As long as you're not, as long as you're cool with getting whatever it is you get, I'm throwing that out there. I'm available.
I thought I was going to get a Micah self-portrait.
I could do that. I'm not good at likenesses, but I could do a drawing that is ostensibly me.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to be the first collector on CAF with one of your originals in their CAF gallery, even if I'm not the first owner of one. I was the first one, not ashamed to post it on CAF for the world to see.
It's all good. It's all good. I was fully prepared for the. Somebody told me about you showing it on your unboxing show, and I was just like, oh god. And then he told me that the people in the comments were making fun of it. So I was like, I got offended. I was like, what could they draw? But then I went back and watched a little bit. Nobody really said anything mean.
Yeah, I didn't think it was terrible. Oh, you mean in the comments during the show? You meant on the artwork. Yeah, I don't remember anybody saying anything too nasty. I mean, come on.
Maybe if you ask real nice, I'll draw Stingray for free. For one exact person, for one specific person.
There you go, right there. I even scanned it at like 600 DPI so I could make sure it was huge for everybody to see.
There'll be an artist edition one day.
It'll be posted.
Yeah. I'll talk to Scott Dunbier. We'll get that moving.
Oh man. Anyway, I do appreciate it, Micah. Yeah, it was fun opening a box that just had that in it.
My pleasure. It went through a couple iterations. It was hard to get the Thor that I wanted. I threw away 3 or 4 drawings before I did that one.
Well, don't be surprised if you start getting a few requests.
Yeah, those have long been thrown away. But if anybody's been to the office and they've even seen my desk, there's drawings all over it. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. I'm on the phone a lot, so
I get it. Lots of doodling, right?
A lot of doodling.
Yeah. Well, why don't we start looking at some artwork here? We just looked at the thing that was going to be the first item we were going to be talking about, though. Was the Cockrum.
It's pretty great. Yeah, F-150. Bam, Magneto, Cyclops, Storm, and Kitty.
I'm not a big X-Men reader, but my girlfriend, who's actually in the comments and pointed this out a minute ago, pointed out that this is an important issue in terms of Magneto's history. It sort of expands on his origins, where you learn that he's a Holocaust survivor, which is played up so much in the movies. It became such an important part of his character there. So this is a cool issue for that reason, if there are any Magneto fans out there.
So the title and all the stuff up here, it's all original. It's on an overlay. We think that the reason for that, not because it's not generally an overlay would be, excuse me, no, don't mind that. Generally an overlay would be printed in a color. Yeah. That's not the case here. I think that you can see some discoloration on the background up at the top. There's a lot. So Rubenstein, when he inked this is all like razor blade cuts. So it's not flat. So we think that basically the rubber cement or whatever crappy glue they were using in 1981 or whatever, just wouldn't adhere to the board because of the texture. So this was their solution for production. But it is all original, all the original title stats and trade dress, all that stuff. No reproductions here.
Yeah, this whole cover is more or less as it was in 1981 when it's photographed for reproduction. So
it's real cool. It's one of the coolest Marvel covers for sure that I've ever been privileged to represent. It's kind of extraordinary. It's because you don't see things like this very often. And when you do, it's generally either on a dealer's wall for some silly amount of money or in somebody's collection, not for sale at all. So it's fun to get to represent a piece like this and just kind of see what happens. That's part of the fun of doing this for a living, is getting stuff where you're like, I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, so much of this like really top level stuff sells privately, and so it might be out there changing hands all the time, but you have no idea how much it actually sells for. So getting to be the ones to bring this to auction after 40 years in one collection, it's exciting to learn what this is worth. I think we're seeing already how much interest there is with the buyer's premium is almost at 150 right now. So
yeah, I was going to say, this has a 15% buyer's premium as well.
So. Everything has a 15%.
Yeah, so you put that on there. Would you still? Well, see, then you've cracked the top 5, Dave Cockrum, Uncanny X-Men covers.
Hey, that's cool. And I like that the guy was an off the radar collector, so it's not. And I mean no offense by this, but it's not like it hasn't been sitting in a CAF gallery for 15 years. Where people could look at it.
Right, people were wondering where it was at. Sure.
Right, this is something where that there are people out there who've been like, have we seen the X-Men 150 cover? Like, where's the X-Men 150 cover? Well,
that's one of my favorite experiences, just being at a convention or in one of these shows and having something out for display that someone goes over and is like, is that what I think it is? Like, where did you get that? Where has that been this whole time? I've had that experience a few times. It's really satisfying to be the people to like bring these things to light.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I agree. Well, it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a 145 or something. So no, yeah, top 4 now. I'd say I'm gonna say a top 4.
Hey.
Yeah, that's
we'll see. I'm sure there are some people waiting in the wings. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
And over a week left, so really it's anybody's guess where this is headed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's fun. Sometimes it's fun. All right, next.
The Kirby. I'm going by price like I always do.
Oh, I know. So it's a Kirby page from Journey to Mystery 86, 4th appearance of Thor. This is, I think, the nicest of the early Thor pages we've ever sold. A lot of great stuff going on here. I love the little transformation at the bottom. A nice big image of Thor with Neal here. He's in pretty much every. Well, he's not in this panel, but he's in 5 out of the 6 panels. It's a beautiful drawing. And again, this is 1962.
Yeah, so this predates Avengers 1
by like a year.
It's well ahead of a lot of those early Marvel appearances. They're still figuring out what these comics are going to look and feel like. Is Thor going to be a sci-fi book? Is it going to be a magic book? They're kind of just playing with it at this point.
I mean, I just like Thor fighting giant robots. But yeah, this is the Kirby and Stan Lee still figuring the character out. Great, yeah, just great drawing. All the city, this little like architecture here is super Kirby. Yeah, I just love everything about it. It's awesome. And even this one, this is higher in the auction now than similar pieces we've sold previous, and that's encouraging too, because it's better, and better pieces should sell for more. And I think this is as good an example as you can get for like very, very early Thor. And honestly, you can't get very many because they're not available. They're not, you just don't see them. Like Kirby Marvel pages from 62, 63, they just don't come up very often.
And Thor was what, the 4th character? It was right after
Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Hulk, Thor, right?
Hulk, then Spider-Man, then
right.
I think Thor was next. So this is like the foundation level of the Marvel universe. It predates. I guess Ant-Man was in the mix, not as Ant-Man earlier, but that kind of doesn't count. I feel like.
But it's awesome.
Well, you know, I'm a fan. So.
I do. That's why I do it for you.
No, I mean, if you know, if I could own that page, I would gladly put it in my collection. I mean, that's a beauty.
You're so if somebody out there wants to buy it for you, you would accept it.
I would not turn it down. It's not going to happen, but no, you know, I've got a Kirby Thor. It's, you know, like from 145 or something, but I'll take it. At least I got one.
That's more than I have. That's still cool. I'm going to talk about this pretty great George Perez Teen Titans page. And I say it's a Teen Titans page, even though there are no Teen Titans on it, but it is exceptional. This is Teen Titans number 4. This is first series, New Titans. This is 1981. So really early Perez at DC. I mean, relatively early Perez at all, but definitely early at DC. And this is just a pretty great opening splash of the Justice League from an issue of Teen Titans. And it's got all that Perez layout that you want. It's dense. It's got a lot of characters, but each one individually identifiable in that way that Perez was great at doing. And we have a debut of a character's new costume. Yeah, the famous 80s Zatanna costume from her time in the Justice League, the purple and white one. I've always been a big fan of that one. I know fans can be mixed, but I always thought it was really unique and helped her fit in on the Justice League in a way that the Magician outfit really didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, I think I can see what it's like, you know, like I have a soft spot for the 80s Black Canary costume, but when given the choice, I think most people go fishnets. Fair enough.
Hey, if we had to look at it, we had to look at like con sketches and stuff, I'm quite certain that yeah, the fishnets do win out. But I get it. I mean, you know,
well,
it's everybody loves their era.
Was Zatanna, but in the second outfit, I want to know if there is any commissions of Zatanna in this outfit.
Oh, there must be.
There must be.
This is like a classic Justice League era too. So I feel like there are people out there who are looking for that.
But yeah, you have Batman, Green Lantern, Hawkman, Wonder Woman. Adams on here somewhere. Yeah.
Micah kind of mentioned this a minute ago, but Perez was really the master of like these really sort of dense drawings. I mean, it's not a dense layout or anything. It's only a couple of panels, but the background is so dense and the characters are so dense, but it's still legible. I mean, even from a distance, like holding it up, you can see what's happening more or less.
These two vertical panels are very, very Perez-y. I think this is great. I was excited when this came in too. You don't see Titans pages this good very often. So that's cool. Excited to see where that one goes to.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. It really is.
What's
What do you
next?
got next? That's what I was going to say. Let's see. We have Starlin, I think, right? Jim Starlin Warlock page.
Warlock. This is a great Warlock page. This is Warlock number 13. This is Starlin finished by Steve Laialoa. And it's what do we got, like 7 panels of Warlock in space?
Yeah, talk about dense pages with space backgrounds. It's like perfect cosmic Starlin.
It's just yeah, lots of space, lots of flying around in space. Beautiful drawing. I think there's Warlock hugging an asteroid.
Wouldn't be a Starlin comic without one quarters text.
No, and a lot of variety in the drawing. You know, it's just one character over and over again, but it's not a boring page. It's actually really dynamically laid out. I like the little starburst in the middle and the close-up down at the bottom. He's shooting a little beam out of the soul gem here. Soul gem? Soul gem?
Soul gem? Somebody who knows Starlin, I'm sorry, these are all things that I don't read.
I believe it's the soul gem.
Yes, it is.
But
Laialoa's inks really make this thing, you know.
They really do. They really do. Like real good.
Yeah.
And it's all Warlock searching for why a star has disappeared, but the planets remained in their same positions, which is kind of an interesting concept. But that's cool. Next, I believe, is Byrne. Is that Byrne next?
Yes, actually, the Iron Fist page.
Iron Fist. So this is Iron Fist versus the Wrecking Crew. Some pretty classic Bronze Age Marvel action right there. You got the Wrecking Crew. Just fabulous, like early Byrne. Like this is pre-X-Men Byrne with Claremont, right? Or
with Claremont,
the first Claremont Byrne collaboration.
Again, I should stop talking about the fact that I don't read these things. I was never a Byrne fan until a few years ago. I sat down and actually read the whole Claremont Byrne Iron Fist run, and it really turned me around on him. I like immediately understood the appeal. Like he just understands storytelling and dynamic action, and this page is a great example of that. Like I love
that first panel layout. The first panel was exceptional. I needed no convincing on John Byrne. John Byrne has always had a nice place in my heart, but this is pretty cool. This is Byrne and Dan Atkins, which is an unusual combination, but Atkins does a pretty formidable job here. I think this is really nice inking over Byrne.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure who did the inking until you said that, but it is really good. I mean, like the second.
And the Wrecking Crew are some of the best Marvel villains of the 70s. Like they're just cool and fun.
Wow. No, that's a beautiful page.
Yeah, I like it a lot. All right.
Now where do we go? Here we go. Is this that Tom Lyle art?
Yeah. So this is the Cosmic Carnage. This is the cover to Amazing Spider-Man 431. So that's the Cosmic Carnage, which is the Silver Surfer infected by Carnage, which is kind of cool. And Tom Lyle, who was a pretty big '90s Spider-Man artist.
Yeah.
Drew a bunch of Maximum Carnage. Did a fair amount of stuff, and this is pretty fun. It screams '90s, but in all the best ways. I mean Carnage for one, but I like this cover a lot. The background was done separately. It was all and then digitally
colored, and there was like a filter,
so that just the background done separate, but all included. Oh. Yeah, it was like fuzzed out and pushed back. So honestly, it's hard to even recognize. You can tell when you look, but there's a lot of digital wizardry.
It was the early days of computer coloring. People were just kind of trying out all the features. So I think it's neat to see it in its sort of components here.
But I think it displays pretty great with no background at all.
Interesting. Yeah, that's no. I think it's a memorable cover. I'd have to go back and look at it again though. I don't remember but yeah, that was all. The '90s were all about experimentation, right?
They were indeed. It was a little bit of let's see what sticks.
Some of these things can stick. I mean, Carnage stuck around.
Yeah, Carnage is a major Spider-Man villain, and he was only a few years old at this point.
And Carnage at this point is about as old as Spider-Man was when Carnage was introduced. So it's incredible, kind of how these things stick around and start to become institutions, even if they still feel new. Like I have never known comics when Carnage didn't exist, and he still to me feels like a new character, but he's not.
Nope. Another Tom Lyle while we're on Tom Lyle. There's a few Tom Lyle pieces in this auction. This is just another nice one we want to show. This is from the 1997 Untold Tales of Spider-Man annual. It's a nice. There's Thor. We've got Thor. There's a lot of Avengers on this page: Cap and Thor and Iron Man, and a bunch of others, and X-Men up there, and then nice Spider-Man down at the bottom.
And then we've got this Tom Lyle Daredevil. I mean, it's a Punisher page, but the Punisher and Daredevil have been sort of rivals for a long time, so they keep showing up in each other's books
and movies. And
this is just a great example of Daredevil's guest appearance in a Punisher comic drawn by Tom Lyle.
Yeah, and a pretty nice image of Daredevil down there.
And there's more Tom Lyle Punisher as well. Mm-hmm. So go check those out if you're a fan.
Yeah, I think most of the people watching are aware of how this works, but we're just like touching the surface. So it's an almost
how many
300
total?
It's a fuller auction than we've had the last couple of times by a little bit.
Just shy of 300, 280 something, I think.
290, okay. I think, was the 90 final count, including a couple of memorabilia pieces and things like that.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's talk about Neal Adams.
Neal Adams.
Yeah. So this is Avengers 96. This is a Kree Skrull War, which is awesome. And you got some Skrulls, you got some Avengers. A lot of beautiful drawing by Adams. This page has 3 credited inkers.
Yeah, so it's Palmer who inks the majority and was the credited inker on the majority of Adams' Marvel work, including this issue. But parts of this page, and you can argue about which parts, are inked by Adams himself and by Alan Weiss. Yeah. So just a bevy of fantastic artists and inkers from that time period, all done very sympathetically over Adams. I think they did really good work over.
I've talked to a few people about this, and they seem to be in agreement that the major figures are inked by Adams. The Avengers down at the bottom, the Skrull at the top. They think that's likely Adams inking himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe some background stuff, background characters, background elements, maybe Palmer or Weiss. Yeah, there's some great little details on this page, some great background characters. My favorite, you want to put the camera up? I'll show you my favorite thing about this page. Yep. If you go down at the very bottom, there's a little scroll. Let's try to, do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite thing. This funny face scroll.
I just love the technique here. You can kind of see they're playing with a lot of different things. You get your zipatone and your white paint and brush and pen. Like it's a real whatever it takes to get the job done kind of page. I think it came out great, so it's clearly worth it.
And it's just also showing that different tools get a different effect, and it's good to mix and match them even on the same page. It draws the eye to certain places. Effective drawing, really well thought out, well done. And Adams' pre-stroll pages don't come up for sale very often, so it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to offer this one, and I think it's a real nice one. So yeah, 1972 was early Bronze Age Neal Adams. I think it's nice. I like it.
Yeah,
it's got the Micah stamp of approval.
Yeah.
So now go and bid.
Exactly.
So yeah, I would love to have that one too. I mean, anything by Neal Adams from that era,
Neal Adams Marvel art just in general is difficult.
This may be the only one I've ever seen in person. It's certainly one of only a few.
Yeah, I mean, you see Neal Adams DC art a lot more often than you see his Marvel, which is why the X-Men pages and the Avengers pages sell for so much money.
So true. Yep. Give me a Neal Adams X-Men page, and I'll be a happy.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen one in person.
I don't think I ever have.
This had to be, like Albert's got to have something on his back.
Yeah. I've probably been in the presence of them without being aware of it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, for as often as I've been to some place, I can't say that I've seen one in direct in my hand.
What did he do?
More than that, it was maybe 8.
Was it that many issues?
It wasn't straight through. There was like a 1 or 2 issue break in the middle, but those ones and I think the Avengers ones might be just drawing wise, just a hair more sophisticated.
Well, Neal Adams' X-Men are the prettiest X-Men until John Byrne and of course Claremont come in. And of course Claremont, Cockrum, and Byrne come in.
Yeah,
they're really beautiful X-Men comics. But we don't have one of those. The Avengers is also great.
It is absolutely. So you mentioned
the blueprint for the sort of longer, more intense stories that you saw in the Bronze Age. Like it was Roy Thomas kind of setting the tone for the next decade or so of Marvel storytelling after Stan Lee departed as the editor.
And a Kree Skrull is a precursor to Secret Wars and Crisis on it, in a lot of ways.
That's true. Very true.
What's next?
We have a Ramos.
Ramos,
piece, right?
We're going to talk about Humberto Ramos for a minute because we've got a few pieces we could go talk about tomorrow.
Okay.
You want to go talk about Spider-Boy?
Yeah, so Humberto Ramos is the co-creator. I'm not 100% sure if he designed the character or created the story first. I don't know what order the things were happening behind the scenes because Spider-Boy was introduced in a comic drawn by Mark Bagley, but it was co-created by Ramos. And then his origin was first published in the Spider-Man anthology miniseries, Edge of Spider-Verse, the 2023 run. And this is the Ramos cover featuring Spider-Boy to that issue. It was the B cover, the open to order variant. It was also a 1 in 1,000 Virgin variant, so a very hard to get one. And this cover, I think, is really spectacular. We were filming some promotional video the other day, and we spent, I don't know, like 5 whole minutes just talking about how smart the composition is, how detailed and dense the lower portion is, and how open the top portion is, and it really forces you to look at Spider-Boy, and also to imagine how high up in the air he is, how fast he's moving. Really smart work from Ramos. And just a really beautiful piece. I think it displays really, really nicely. And if that's not enough for you, we have 2 interior pages, one featuring Spider-Boy out of costume in school, and the other one featuring Spider-Boy in costume fighting some masked goons. So 2 great pieces from Spider-Boy's origin, drawn by his co-creator.
These pages were inked for publication.
Yes, these are the pencils to pages that were inked later.
Blue line inks. But these are Ramos's pencils.
Yeah, this is the work of Ramos himself here. And the cover he inked himself. So this is pencils and inked by Ramos.
And we've got another Ramos cover.
I think you have a Cap cover too.
Captain America cover. If only there was somebody who collected Captain America cover. So his Captain America cover. This is from Captain America #1. This was
the recent J. Michael Straczynski,
right?
It was short-lived. He moved on to some other things. He's still doing some stuff at Marvel right now, but this one had a lot of different variants. I think this one is really fantastic, very dynamic.
I think it's a really great, heroic image of Cap from Ramos. I like the dense background. It's interesting. It's like the restraint in the Spider-Boy, which to that cover's credit was the right choice there. I like that this one puts Cap in an environment. Like he's there and he's reacting to something, which is great.
The next couple pieces are similar in that they're very dependent on the surroundings of the character and use that to great effect.
And for a guy who's been around, Ramos has been drawing comics for almost 30 years. It's nice to see this doesn't look like what he was doing 20 years ago. It's one of the things I really like to see in artists who have that kind of longevity is growth. And I think Ramos, he's always challenging himself, and you can see it in the work.
New tools as well. You can see different techniques being applied to the pages.
Artists are always learning and always trying to get better. That's the goal anyway. And also Ramos, one of the nicest guys in comics, just a super good guy.
Yeah, we've run into him at a couple of conventions lately.
We keep ending up at tables next to him at restaurants in Italy and in Connecticut. But yeah,
and at OAX when
yeah. And yeah, he's super nice, and I like him a lot. I got to chat with him a little bit at Terrificon last month.
We got these 2 covers from Spider-Man, the Dan Slott Mark Bagley series from a couple of years ago. #2, these are part of the end of the Spider-Verse storyline. This #2 variant cover featuring Spider-Woman here on the side of the building. Beautiful sort of downward shot of the street. You can see how high up she is in the sort of scale.
Compositionally excellent and incredibly difficult. That's really difficult drawing.
And this is kind of what I mean. You can see the really thin line inking on the building and on the cars and everything. And then the chunkier inking on Spider-Woman herself and her hair in particular, and the sort of gray tones to define her body. It's this nice mix of techniques, like we were talking about with the Neal Adams page, to really do what is most effective.
Yeah, maybe not for people who have issues with heights. Yeah. or this one either, honestly.
This one, yeah, you can see it's Miles Morales. This is the Spider-Man #4 variant cover, but he's swinging in between two moving subway cars, so you can see the definition of the windows and the doors, but also he does a great job of keeping them, blurred. And I do think they're moving in opposite directions. You can kind of sense that from the direction of the motion line. It's really, really effective work.
Yeah, I think it was exceptional. I think he's gotten really good at designing really dynamic covers. And, you say what you will, comics are comics, but the covers is what makes people pick them up and look inside.
That's the whole gambit of the variant cover, right? This cover likely has almost nothing to do with what was going on inside the comic, so they're not trying to draw you in with a promise of a story. They're trying to draw you in because this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And it is.
Indeed. There's a few more Ramos pieces that we're not going to show you, some X-Men pieces from the early 2000s.
Yeah, like 18, 20
but,
years, something like that.
Nice pages also. We can't show everything. We can try.
It would be nice to be able to. There's some fantastic stuff that we're just not going to get to. But
right, there are three pages from the X-Men from what, 202, 195, and 2 from 195. So if you're interested, everybody, go over to ComicConnect and you can search for yourself.
Some nice ones.
What's next?
We have Curt Swan, a DC sighting here after that Teen Titans appearance. But now, Curt Swan, I mean, Lois has made a pen pal out of a criminal.
I think this cover really, a really great summation of what Lois Lane comics were like in this time period. So this is one issue before Lois Lane 106, which is, one of my favorite comics of the time period, which is That's the I Am Curious Black issue of Lois Lane. So this is one issue before that, and I think an equally absurd concept for the cover. So, yeah, here Lois Lane has just gotten married to a guy who's on his way to be executed, which is crazy on its own. And then you add Superman, who's standing there going like, yeah, let's get on with this already. Come on, this guy's got to, it's like, yeah, so we're married now, Lois, and I'm about to carry you over the threshold. And then Superman says, but in 5 minutes, you'll leave alone as his widow.
This is, there's
Yep.
Silver Age and the early Bronze Age, especially the sort of Superman adjacent comics, the Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. It's Superman is the worst on all of them. Like he's pouring out jugs of water in the desert and locking Jimmy Olsen in jail. I mean, he really does not care at all about his friends, his family, the people closest to him, and it's just it's amazing to me that they were able to do covers like this every month.
Mm-hmm.
And not piss off all the readers. If you tried to do this now, people would riot.
As he so very plainly says in the new movie, he's got to stop being such a dick. This issue is also the first appearance of Rose and Thorn, a Rose and Thorn backup. So this is the first appearance of Rose and Thorn. This image is a stat on the cover.
We think it was probably taken. It looks like Ross Andrew, not like Curt Swan. So it was probably taken just from the story.
This cover was likely drawn before they knew that the Rose and Thorn was going to be in the issue. Before Rose and Thorn, it was what? Do you remember?
I don't remember 100% what the backup was.
But so when they realized that they were introducing a new backup feature, they put this little blurb on the cover. So not original art, but the first Rose and Thorn appearance on a cover of count, regardless. And Swan and Anderson, so classic Swanderson, as good as it gets, one of the best pencil or inker teams in comics history, and definitely one of the best, on Superman. I think it's cool. Again, all original cover elements, and a great electric chair cover. And this could be an EC comic, just if Superman was just somebody else,
like a skull-faced guy,
I love everything about it. It's great.
And if that wasn't enough for you, the color guide for that cover is also available as a separate lot. They're ending right next to each other, so if you look at the auction, they should be right next to each other if you're looking at everything in timing order. We don't know 100% who did this.
Probably Titania Wood.
Yeah, Tatiana Wood at this point was doing most of the DC cover colors. It might be a little early for her.
But
so
it's not signed and there's no credit.
Yeah,
but it's
not attributed anywhere, but this is the production color guide. Very cool. Does not have writing or anything all over it telling you what the printer codes are. So it displays real nice, especially next to the cover if you were to pick up both.
Here, here. They should keep them together if at all possible.
Yeah, that's in your hands.
So remind everybody about the bidding process. So
bidding process
next Thursday.
Same as it ever was. So if you pull up one of the pages.
Yeah, let me actually I'll pull up the next one that we've got here. I can show this off. All right.
So you see the counter there. What is that like?
It's just under 10 days.
Yeah, like 9 days, 23 hours, something like that. So that counter is counting down to when that piece ends.
And the first counter is set to end at 7 p.m. next Thursday on the 18th. So that's the night for the art. 7 p.m. is.
So if you're interested in the Neal Adams, you want to be there early on because that'll be like the third or fourth piece. So the counter is counting down to when that piece ends, with the caveat that every bid placed with under 3 minutes left resets the clock to 3 minutes.
So yeah, 3 whole minutes have to go by with no new bids at the end in order for the piece to end. If somebody else comes in and outbids you, it's going to reset back up to 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to up your bid if you were
right. No sniping. So yeah.
So even if the bid that was placed didn't become the high bid,
right, and change in price at all.
Right.
So you don't have to outbid. You don't have to outbid the person who's winning it to reset the clock. Just any bid of any kind.
Any bid will reset the clock when it's under.
That way, bidding truly stops when nobody is willing to pay more.
And that's the same way it works at other places. It may not be 3 minutes, but if you place a bid and then get immediately outbid by a previous bid, it still resets the countdown timer. I mean, it's maybe not an actual timer, but it resets the trigger to close.
Yeah.
This is a pretty cool Tim Sale cover. It's from what is this? Batman 19. This is a Tom King's Batman.
It's a part of the I Am Bane storyline that Batman went down to Bane and attacked his fortress. Bane coming back to Gotham for revenge, and he's going to take Batman apart.
Mm-hmm. So this is got 6 villains here. This is you got Mr. Freeze and the Riddler and Two-Face, Scarecrow, and Bane, of course, and Firefly. I want to say
Firefly.
And great, and beautiful. Tim Sale was always really great at this gray ink wash. And there's a really beautiful example of that here. Like really, really nice work in the little smoke and cloud.
If you look at the earlier stuff he was doing when he was first starting to incorporate that into his regular work about 20 years ago, the ink wash is very heavy. It can be kind of overpowering. There's some real restraint going on here that came as he matured as with the ink wash. You can see the different gradations of it. Like it's really sort of masterfully applied to this cover.
And Tim Sale did it because it's not in color. It's a little tell for people. If you see a Tim Sale piece and it's in color, he didn't do it because he couldn't.
Duncan Fegredo is also colorblind.
Yeah, that's true. But Tim Sale never did anything in color.
That this part is true.
So I know that there have been a couple instances where somebody's had something that they thought was Tim Sale, and somebody been like, not in color, it isn't.
Exactly. No, that's gorgeous. Now, is this the only Tim Sale piece you have in the auction?
It is the only Tim Sale piece, I believe, right?
Yeah, sometimes we get lucky. We have a few. It's happened recently, but this time we only have the one.
And we've had our share of pretty good ones.
What a one this is to be the only one.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I love. Yeah. And it's a good, hey, it's a good run of Batman. Tom King is got his fingers in everything, a little bit of everything. So it's fun. It's including all the movies.
That is true. So you've got a Trad Moore piece up next, I believe.
That one's behind me. This is from the Let Them Live unpublished stories from the DC Vault series. DC did this during the COVID lockdown. They released a digital first, and then eventually they put out a print trade paperback of it, of inventory stories that they had commissioned for either books that got canceled or that they had decided not to run or something like that. And so there was a Tradmore Silver Surfer Suicide Squad one shot that was just sitting in the DC vaults for years until they decided to run these, and thank God they did, because it's kind of awesome. And this is the last page from that story. It's got Harley and the largest Deadshot you've ever seen. It's just fantastic, and early but recognizably that kind of bubbly Tradmore style.
Oh, unmistakably Trad. I think this is, not too far before Silver Surfer Black. You can see
it was published after, but I think it was drawn. I think we've got in 2017, so 2 years, like year and a half.
Yeah, he was probably working on Silver Surfer Black within a year of drawing this.
So you can see him sort of practicing that shift in style from the early, like, Luther Strode pieces over to the Tradmore style that we are now familiar with.
Yeah, this looks more like Silver Surfer Black than like Luther Strode, that's for sure. Yeah, and it's a great. Yeah, I like just two big figures walking forward. It's a pretty great image. And then again, that shot is almost the entire length of the board. It's probably 15 inches of Deadshot.
Yeah, it's not quite top to bottom, but left to right, the background at the bottom does cover the full width of the board. So it's really about as big an image as it could be on a piece of paper this size.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And cool designs for both characters. I think it's a neat Harley outfit, and it works really well in black and white. And just, again, the biggest Deadshot you've ever seen. He's huge.
He's pretty big. I also like this outfit. They never used that again, did they?
No, this got kind of siloed because it was not published when it was originally commissioned. So the world kind of passed it by, unfortunately.
Well, maybe we'll see him beating up Peacemaker in an episode of TV or something.
I would love for them to take as much influence from Tradmore as they have from Tom King.
Well, this one's at $2,700 right now.
Yeah.
You're
you're gonna look at a whole bunch more Jim Starlin art now.
We're gonna take all these out.
Yeah, I gotta take them all out.
I know you have a little bit of Jim Starlin in this auction.
I don't know if I've been exercising enough to fully hold all of these.
This is 6 pieces of very thick illustration board. This is a complete story. This is from Starlin. This is from Epic Illustrated 14. This is 1982.
This is the famous issue that had the preview of the upcoming third movie in the Star Wars trilogy, Revenge of the Jedi.
Looking forward to that.
Any day now, they're going to tell us when that one's coming.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, this is just the splash page, especially edge to edge, just space carnage.
Not space carnage. Like we were looking
not that space carnage. The story kind of cools down a little bit, but it's still beautiful. This is two of these are set. It's great Starlin drawing. This is like peak Starlin from a drawing standpoint. Like I love this time period, right around Dreadstar and all that stuff he was drawing himself.
This is pencils and inks by Starlin, so it's all unfiltered Jim Starlin style on this page. I think not letters, but everything else is him.
And just some really fabulous drawing. And the final page is a doozy. So the second little penultimate page, there's a little drama, and then another little big action panel to close the story. To see a story like this still together and complete, and it's only 6 pages, so it's not.
But it's as thick as 10 pages.
It is quite thick. But it's not a 20-page story that's going to kill the bank. But I love keeping things like this complete. Because it's been complete for 40 years. Yeah, 43 years. It's like, who am I to break up a 6-page story?
And I think if you have the wall space for it, it's the kind of thing that would look nice together.
Yeah.
You could have the whole thing. It is readable. It's not like, you know, having a complete issue where you got to take up like a long winding corridor.
Now, this would be a great piece for a stairway or a hallway. Be a great to have the 6 pages out. You could even do it as like a 3-panel grid of two rows of 3. It would look real nice. But anyway, that's pretty awesome.
That is a beautiful piece. And so that's 82. Yeah, that's okay.
82.
43.
And that's, you know, early Epic Illustrated. Really, really interesting work. And then especially when you think of that as a Marvel book, it's so unusual. And
he gets a lot of credit for Vertigo, and rightly so. I mean, Vertigo is fantastic, and for, you know, introducing new ideas and new creators and new stories. But Marvel was doing that with Epic Illustrated and Epic Comics well before DC was, and not that DC shouldn't get the credit that they deserve, but I think that Epic, because it was earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Epic was a creator-owned imprint at Marvel long before Vertigo was a creator-owned imprint.
And I think it gets overlooked sometimes, but some really influential and phenomenal work came out of that period under the leadership of Archie Goodwin and Dan Chichester. Like they just did great work, and they got good books.
Yeah. Like #1 Marvel fan says, it was a cool magazine. It was marketed. It wasn't marketed well. You know, I picked them up, but it was always like kind of you go to the drugstore and it was always in the back row of the comics and stuff. So you never really quite, you know, knew.
Well, you get Jeff Jones or you know, John Byrne doing a Galactus story. Like you never knew what exactly you were going to get out of an issue of Epic or Barry Smith. Like Barry Smith did some of the best work of his whole career in it.
I think P. Craig Russell, the early Elric adaptations before they moved over to First, I think those were just like soaring achievements. Really, really beautiful work by a lot of people really putting in their all on that series.
And I see in the, you know, Robert Berman in the comments pointing it out. But yeah, of course, Epic was a response to heavy metal, but it was a way for American artists to kind of showcase in a way that heavy metal didn't really do that.
And I also think that it meant something for Marvel and then DC to invest in creators and their stories and their ideas in a way that, you know, heavy metal doing it or later on Image doing it, like that's kind of all they do. Whereas DC and Marvel, where they have their own established universes, taking a space to give artists the time to shine, really meant something. It was a good investment for them.
Yes. And it allowed creators who maybe would never have an opportunity to do something in heavy metal, guys like Starlin, to do something that didn't have to feature an existing Marvel character.
Sure.
To get that a lot of fun. And Starlin especially, I mean, throughout his whole career, like really enjoyed doing, you know, you do a little bit here, and then he'd go and do his own thing, be it, you know, Dreadstar or any of the other things he did on his own. I'm a big Gilgamesh 2 fan myself. I know nobody cares about that comic, but I still have a soft spot for it.
You've mentioned that before, I believe, Mike.
I probably have. I talk about this all the time. I would love art from Gilgamesh 2 if anybody has any, but you know, priced accordingly.
There's more fans of that than of the Thor that you drew for me. I guarantee you that. But
well, yeah, of course, I'll trade art. I'll trade art for it. I'll do some drawings.
There you go.
All right, let's get back to Jack Kirby.
It's great.
It really is. This is the splash page for Mr. Miracle 17, and you got Scott Free holding his Mr. Miracle mask, which I love that he's holding the draped mask, and then Sheila Norman, the second Mr. Miracle, hanging out in the back. I mean, we've talked about this before too. Mr. Miracle is my favorite of the Kirby Fourth World titles. I just think the character is super interesting. I love the sort of escape artist aspect of it. Even learning later on that he's just Jim Steranko, which is funny. It's something like when I was young, Mr. Miracle was the Kirby character that kind of spoke to me. I mean, him being part of that 80s Justice League didn't hurt. But I always loved the dynamic, the Kirby, the Miracle and Barda, and the whole like swapped kind of as a child with Orion kind of aspect of Mr. Miracle. And I just think Kirby in this time period did the best work of his whole career. So Kirby,
yeah, and
Kirby and Roy.
Starting the inker wars again. This page is inked by Royer. I think that helps. He's very good. Probably my favorite Kirby inker, especially of this period. And you can tell he didn't tamp down Kirby's sort of more idiosyncratic approaches to drawing. He kind of leaned into them while still keeping the art like pretty and fluid in a way that I think is really difficult looking at.
And rare for a comic page. This page is only ever touched by 2 people. So penciled by Kirby, inked and lettered by Roy.
Wow.
Kind of neat.
It's a very nice Kirby page. Hey, Chuck Arnold actually says that Gilgamesh 2 is one that he likes as well.
Yeah, that's 2 of them.
No one else chimed in, but there you have it.
Only 4 issues. They could probably be purchased for under $4.
Well, the next time I go to the comic shop, I'll look in the dollar bins and see what.
4 prestige format issues.
So it might cost you $5.
It might cost you. It might be somebody will be so happy that you want them, they'll give them to you for $3. We've got a couple of Alan Davis Excalibur pages. This is issue 12. So they're both really strong Rachel pages. This one, just Rachel throughout. She's using her Phoenix powers. Love that first panel. They're using the Phoenix powers. Phoenix again down at the bottom. Like this is a really, really good, Rachel Summers Phoenix page by Davis. Like I want to say it's as good as it gets, but the next one's real good too. So this is from Excalibur 12. The next one is from the special edition, so the first Excalibur book.
So this was
drawn
much
format. Bigger.
Yeah, it was drawn on the like larger boards that a lot of artists were using in the 80s.
My theory is that the Excalibur special edition was originally meant to be printed the size of a Marvel graphic novel, which would make sense for the time period, and explain why they're drawn in such big pictures.
But yeah, you've got Rachel here doing Phoenix stuff in every panel.
There's a close up of her face. Yeah, in the big bottom panel, it's like her with the Phoenix face, and I just love the way Davis draws Rachel Summers. I think it's just excellent, and all the creatures is another thing that Davis excelled at. These sort of weird creatures and monsters and aliens and Frankenstein over here. But yeah, this a wonderful page from the Excalibur special. Is this one inked by Davis? It's not.
No, these are both inked by Neary, who really, nothing against Mark Farmer, who does a fantastic job on the later Excaliburs and on a lot of Davis artwork since. But Neary, partly because it was the first pairing I encountered, but Neary over Davis just feels like home. Like it just feels right.
A little trick for people: if you ever come across an Excalibur special edition page, always look at the back, because there's a handful of pages that Davis did ink himself, and you can tell those because on the back he wrote Alan Davis inks in pen up at the top. So those are always kind of fun because it's not credited, so you don't really know. I've just come across a few of those.
Well, that was beautiful.
There's another Captain America. For people who like Captain America. This is Butch Geis. This is the cover to Fear Itself, Captain America #7.
It was published at like 7.1. I think it was like
7.1, right?
Spin-off numbering for the different character sub-stories in Fear Itself. But our data entry system doesn't allow us to do that.
But so this is Steve Rogers returning as Captain America for the first time after being killed, holding what he believes to be the body of the new Captain America, which is the Winter Soldier. So this is Captain America, the original Captain America, sort of holding the body of his replacement, who turns out to be fine, but in the context of his image, he doesn't know that. Same thing with the X-Men cover. Like, Storm doesn't know Kitty's not dead. He's never read a comic book before. But this is a beautiful work by Geis, who, there's way too many of these artists no longer with us, and it's to the point where it'd be too depressing to mention every time. But this is recent, so I felt like it was worth a mention. But really, good, like somber, just the right amount of somber for what the content is, the Washington Monument in the background. Yeah, really. Yeah.
This was kind of like Geis on a hot streak. Like he just was on fire at this point. He did a lot of the inking and some of the penciling on the Brubaker Captain America that would have come immediately before this and sort of ran concurrently to this. He just really brought that sort of noir edge to those stories that made them so good.
The artists who were doing the best work on Captain America at the time all had sort of a sort of noir-y realism. You know, Epting and Geis and Lark, like, you know, those guys all kind of have like a kind of an old-fashioned sensibility, and I think that really fit with the kind of stories they were doing with Captain America at the time.
Yeah, I mean, Brubaker is at the end of the day like a crime and thriller writer, and he took that vibe seriously in terms of the collaborators he worked with as well.
Yep. Hey, I've got a Captain America page from around that time period, so I'm not immune.
I get it. No, those Brubaker stories were phenomenal.
They're excellent. It takes a lot for me to buy a page of art with a superhero on it. So that I have a Captain America page from that time period. It tells you all you need to know about how I feel about those stories. I don't buy a lot of hero art.
Yeah, that was a storyline that kind of lived up to all the hype, though.
Oh yeah, and I read it after the fact. I read it after that because I had read Brubaker's work before, and going back to when he was just an independent artist, like drawing his own stories. And I kind of slept on that one because I was like, I don't need to read Captain America. And then after it was collected, I went back and read them, and I was like, oh man, these are real good. And there's a reason why they based a bunch of movies off of them.
Yes.
This is Kevin Eastman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles variant. This is Ninja Turtles number 66. This is from 2016. It's the Eastman variant, but a really, really good one, I think. It's a really good, like, Ninja Turtle image, very, very Eastman-y with the statue and the rain and the lightning. The density is very much sort of Eastman in the past 20 years or so has been doing these very dense drawings.
I was going to say, we've been talking about dense artwork all night, but I think this one might hold the record for being the densest thing in the auction.
Because we have no Mignola to compare it to. It's probably the most black in any piece we're going to show. But again, like Perez and other people, it's dense, but it's not busy. It doesn't take away from you being able to read the drawing and to understand what he's trying to convey. It's just that's how Kevin Eastman thinks. And he can't use duo-shade anymore because they don't make it, so he draws in all those little lines. But I think he does an excellent job. I think Eastman has not faltered really at all. He's been drawing comics for 40 years, more.
I mean, Ninja Turtles
is 84, so just a little over 40 years. And yeah, there's nothing old-fashioned looking about it. There's nothing, it's not like, oh, that's quaint. Like, oh, this looks like just good comics. He's still a really, really talented artist.
To what Micah was talking about earlier with these guys who've been in the business for so long, like, he isn't drawing the same way that he did 40 years ago. It's recognizably the same artist, but it is not the same drawing. And I think he's one of the best examples of someone who never stopped learning.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with those early Turtle pages, the duo shade gave the work kind of a texture that,
and
he's carrying that through here, just without using the duo shade as the vehicle to do that. And I think that's awesome.
I'm surprised they didn't keep that company in business.
They were many pages I'd say Turtles probably have more duo shade pages than any other comic.
Like since the 50s at least.
Yeah,
right.
Like comic strip guys who were keeping them in business.
I wish they still made it because I'd love to get some so I could play with it, but you can't.
You can get the paper, but you can't get the developer.
Yeah,
it's just paper.
They don't make the chemicals anymore. So that's somebody who really cracks the code of what you can use instead of them. I just think it'd be fun to play with it. Just see what you can do. It's the least forgiving format because you can't correct anything. So if you make a mistake, you gotta either live with it or figure out some other way to fix it. because you can't put white. You can put white out over the duo shade. You can't reuse the texture.
Right.
So no mistakes allowed. All right, we're going to talk about John Buscema for a couple minutes.
Like a while. So
we've got a fair amount, and we aren't even showing all of them up. We'll skim through some of these. But if there's any John Buscema fans out there, we've got a pretty good amount of it.
We're going to go kind of by category here.
Some of it from a books that have never been available before. So first, we'll start off with the page from Conan 41, just a nice, really early Buscema Conan. This is Buscema pencils and Ernie Chan inks. But you got a damsel in distress, and Conan taking it out on some guys.
And Buscema Chan, along with Buscema Alcala, Buscema Marcos, like one of those sort of classic Conan art teams. It looks like Conan comic.
This one is Savage Sword of Conan number 222. This is Buscema inking himself. This beautiful double spread.
We had a page from this issue before. This is the issue of Savage Sword where Buscema retells the same Conan story that was adapted in Conan the Barbarian #1 that Barry Wintersmith drew. So you get that same first Conan story, but reinterpreted by the other major Conan artists. So it's really cool. If there are any Conan fans out there to get Buscema's take on that classic story.
I mean, no offense to Chan or Marcos or any of these, or Palmer, the guys who inked Buscema a lot, but he's his own best inker. This is the front and back covers to Volume 1 of the Essential Conan that Marvel put out. Was it like early 2000s?
Late 90s, early 2000s when they started putting out the Essentials. This was the first format where it had the text all around and then the little cover. So this would have been one of the early ones.
Yep.
And they make kind of a scene. You got Conan fighting this weird long-necked monster. It's just a fantastic monster design, kind of Muppety.
Yeah, saving the lady. And then in the back cover, it's Conan and the lady kind of going off on a horse together.
And yeah, each one does come with the prelim to that image included as well. Yep, each one.
Oh yeah, they both include prelims. Look at that.
So if you get this, you'll get a preliminary version of the very same drawing that you can see, the pencil prelim for that Muppety monster guy.
These are separate lots in the auction,
but ending right next to each other. So keep an eye on those.
And here's one for you, Bill. This is Thor Annual number 13. So you got just a perfect image of Thor, ready to wallop something, and then Mephisto, and then Thor fighting
Ulik the troll.
Yeah, Ulik. This panel here is interesting. I'll talk about this panel for a second. So this image of Ulik here is a stat, except for the arm up here that is drawn. Underneath the stat is a drawing that had been covered up, but that drawing isn't Ulik. There's a full image of Thor underneath this image that had been covered up, so that exists. So there is another drawing of Thor by Buscema underneath that. I don't know why it was changed, but it was. I don't know where this image of Ulik comes from, somewhere else in the issue probably. But there is a full Thor drawing underneath that is probably retrievable at some point, but that's going to take some professional work to pull that paste up off. But it might be worth doing by somebody just to see what it's doing. It's cool. But otherwise, I mean, this image of Thor here. I mean, that's your money right there. And a great material. And
another one. No, it's the Avengers annual page. Oh, we do have another page in the inventory.
Gotcha.
More on that later.
More Buscema. This is from Fantastic Four 124. This is I forget the name of that one. But this panel here, this is the cover image from this issue. It's this guy holding Sue Storm. That's basically that image is kind of recreated on the cover, and just this wonderful big two-thirds splash panel of just monster mayhem by Buscema, who's great. So this is Buscema and Sinnott, because it's an issue of Fantastic Four. So who else would have made it?
Exactly. It says it's the monster from the Lost Lagoon.
There you go.
Nope.
But yeah, so the cover, yeah, it's similar image to the cover.
Which is a legally distinct creature from the Black.
Yes. All right, this is Avengers 277. So some second run Avengers by Buscema. This is inked by Palmer. But yeah, Black Knight and Goliath and Wasp. Thor again. This is a fun second run Avengers page by Buscema.
I love looking at these. You can immediately tell these second run Avengers pages because whatever ink Palmer used on them is like the blackest ink I've ever seen. Like it just stands out from across a room.
So here's an Avengers pencils and inks by Buscema. This is Avengers Annual 23. This is a nice Loki page with some more monsters. Buscema really likes drawing creatures and non-earthly environments.
He excelled at like wizards and sorcerers, guys with cloaks and staffs.
And that vertical panel that we start the page with this like ethereal Loki in it. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous page.
All right, more. So this one, this is maybe my favorite of all the Buscemas we have in this auction. So this is Mephisto from the Marvel Handbook. This is from 1984 and 1983. So yeah, this is the Buscema's Mephisto pinup from the original Marvel Handbook, and it's perfect. It's just a perfect image of Mephisto. Inks by Rubinstein, like every other piece from the Marvel Handbook.
All right, I'm going to take it from here.
Go.
I want you all to just imagine Stan Lee with John Buscema creating Superman. It would look a little something like this. This is one of those books that Micah was talking about. These have never been available before.
No page from this book has ever been for sale.
And so we thought, why not start with the cover? It's outstanding. It is the main cover. So Adam Hughes did all the variants because he did a lot of the character designs for these Stan Lee DC books. We were talking about this. This was one of the last things that Buscema worked on before he died. And it's odd that he spent the last few years of his career doing Superman stuff at DC when he had never really worked at DC before. But I, for one, as a DC fan and a John Buscema fan, am glad he did. This book is great. Pencils and ink by Buscema, immediately recognizable as him, and just fantastic that he was able to work with Stan Lee on this very unique project. And if that's not enough, we have 3 pages. So this one features the Superman character who's a police officer on his home world following a criminal. They get stuck in a spaceship that is headed to Earth, and this is them fighting inside that spaceship. And then this is him and some criminals and this world's version of Lois Lane, who's his publicist. And then this is a great action page of Superman busting through a wall and then him talking with Lois as well. Some of these pages, I think 2 of them come with prelims as well. It'll be in the listing. They'll be pictured if they're available. And we don't
full page prelims too, not
not like panel prelims, but the whole page, full size, like so.
Right in the back of that one.
And then he drew all the time, so you'll find little like knights and Vikings and things like all over the place.
Yeah.
You can't draw Superman all day.
He never. From all the little doodles I've seen by Buscema, and I've seen a fair amount of them, what they have in common is that none of them are costumed heroes. He did not do costumed heroes. He doodled Conan and creatures and warriors. Honestly, he's more likely to draw a guy in a suit and a fedora than draw a guy in a cape.
And he did that suit and fedora thing real well.
Yeah, he did. But for a guy who's so good at drawing superhero comics, he didn't really care for it. That's why he drew Conan for 30 years, because it's what he liked drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, this is another one where, to my knowledge, the art from this book has not become available.
Although it is not complete, so.
Yeah, but we think that's Inker's share. Page taken by Dave Miga. So this is John Buscema and Tony DeZuniga. This is the nearly complete art to one of the two stories from the Spider-Man 1987 verbal child abuse giveaway comic. It's not the sex abuse one featuring the Power Pack, but the verbal abuse one. It's great. I mean, just it's like owning a Hostess ad, except there are 11 of these.
And Spider-Man doesn't actually appear in it.
Yeah, Spider-Man is not in it. So there's a phrase for it.
He's the host. He's like the old witch of the emotional child abuse comics.
And he's like remembering these kids he met who were being abused at home. And this is one of the stories about a kid whose dad is an abusive alcoholic, and his sisters start taking their mom's Valium, and he finally asks for help, and then gets walked to school by Spider-Man later in the comic.
But I mean, we're making light of this, but in the 80s, you know, there a lot of kids would have read this, and you know, if they were in a situation like this, maybe they didn't have an outlet or didn't know what to do, and there's no internet to tell them what to do or for them to go with questions. So these comics, again, we poke fun a little bit because it's, you know, but it's good that they existed, and I'm sure these comics helps people.
Absolutely, and I think, like we were talking about, you know, John Buscema didn't draw superheroes for fun, so it's nice to think that he really put his all into this, and his drawings are just so human in a way that I think people are able to really connect to. Like, these feel like people that you might go out and see somewhere, so maybe you start to think about the kids that you see out there. Are they in the same kind of situation? Like, what can be done to help them? And you know, you really start to feel for them. I was sitting there reading it, trying to figure out what order all the pages went into, and it's hard not to feel bad for these kids in this situation. Like, it's just very effective storytelling. So this is 9 pages out of a 12-page story, plus 2 alternate pages that were redrawn, or they changed the script or something like that. But they're included in the lot as well. You should check out the listing to see all the pages. There's some really fantastic drawings.
I mean, as far as emotional Spider-Man stories go, it's no kid who collected Spider-Man, but very few things are.
Mm-hmm. That's a favorite of many a Spidey fan.
Yeah, I'm so annoyed that Mike has all the art.
Yeah.
I think he's missing one or two pages, I think. If I remember right. I remember when, because he had it on display at the Society of Illustrators Spider-Man show, which is probably like 10 years ago now.
Yep.
And I remember there was a page or two missing, and I was surprised.
But if that wasn't enough,
but oh my god, I love that comic.
There's a lot more Buscema in this auction. Prelims.
Yeah, lots of sketches and prelims, and probably no other finished pages.
No, I think
but a lot of
all the published
cool
ones,
like Surfer prelims, some Conan prelims, the Wolverine prelims.
There's a Wolverine prelim that I was actually able to identify what panel it corresponds to. So there's some stuff that was done for published work. It wasn't just done as a doodle. So definitely go and check those out. There's some really fantastic drawing. I mean, I don't think he ever put out a bad drawing, and he drew constantly. And we're lucky enough to be able to.
But there'll be a nice, you know, range of affordability on the Buscema drawings.
Yeah, no, the Surfer page prelim was really nice.
Yeah.
And if Buscema wasn't enough, we've got a guy who was very influenced by
Buscema. This is Steve Epting Avengers double spread. This would have been like 1998. Oh my God, much earlier, like 93. I did not realize how long Steve Epting had been drawing comics.
So this is Epting and Palmer, so that's sort of compounding the Buscema influence there. This would have come like right on the heels of that second run Buscema stuff. Just fantastic drawing. I've always been an Epting fan. This is, you get your jacket era Avengers. Everyone's got the teched out head socks.
It was the 90s, man. Just because you weren't around doesn't mean that people can't enjoy it.
I say this with love. I think this page is awesome. You got this big, like, snowy panel over here, and then you get the close-ups of all the sort of intense, grizzled Avengers.
You got the title and the credits. I love getting pages with credits in them. It's always fun. Yeah, this is cool. Epting was and continues to be a very good artist.
And if that wasn't enough, we got another Epting page for you. This one's even earlier. This is 1991. It's an Epting Avengers page from Avengers 342. Features in addition to there are actually no classic Avengers on this page, but you got more new warriors than you can shake a stick at.
Let's just say all of them.
As well as newly introduced at the time Avenger Rage. So just a very sort of its time Avenger.
That middle
Rage.
panel on the bottom is real good.
It's a really good page, and whatever ink Tom Palmer was using still
black as night.
Black, yeah.
There used to be an ink called Black Magic. And
it's not so good anymore.
But I wonder if that's what he was using. That would have been around the same time that I was using it, so it definitely existed.
It's still available, but it's gray magic now. Not so good.
Well, all right. Spider-Man here. Spider-Man goes to Al Milgrom, inked by Jim Mooney. This is a Spectacular Spider-Man 73. Just look at that top sequence. That sequence up at the top. It's really great storytelling.
Milgrom, he drew like an editor, so he was thinking like, how do I tell this story? How do I maximize the amount of emotional storytelling and just like informational storytelling in everything? And so it's this really sort of meticulous approach to drawing that I really appreciate as someone who also thinks in terms of design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a cool, early 80s Spider-Man page. Who doesn't like that? Right?
You have to take this one because I don't know anything about it.
All right, let's talk about the Micronauts for a minute. This is a Kelly Jones page from This is Micronauts, The New Voyages, so second series Micronauts. This is from issue 14. It's from 1985. And I was alive in the 80s and in the 70s, and I loved the Micronauts. Not the comics. I mean, the comics are all good and well, but I love me some Micronauts toys. So that's the Aquarier here, classic Micronaut character Aquarier. And this is some early Kelly Jones, and it looks like Kelly Jones, and it's awesome. It's inked by Danny Buonati, and yeah, I love this period of Jones. I love that you can buy art from a comic book about the Micronauts. I think that's fantastic. It's like Micronauts and Shogun Warriors and all these weird 70s toys that turned into cool comics. But Micronauts is awesome. I love it. And, this is Kelly Jones, 1985, so this is, 4 or 5 years before he sort of became a bigger name, drawing, Sandman and Deadman and all that stuff.
Yeah, Deadman wasn't until the 90s?
Deadman was...
1991?
What year was Action Comics Weekly? That was the first Kelly Jones Deadman.
I guess I was talking about the Prestige series, yeah. But the Action Weekly, I don't count those because he didn't make them.
Well, but they're Kelly Jones Deadman. They look like whatever. Anyway, this is awesome.
It is, and those toys were kind of tough to beat, right? The ones I had were all metal cast, and I mean, you could.
They're
those things.
Some of the coolest toys ever made. I still have a bunch of them. John Romita Jr. This is Suicide Squad number 14. This is from 2017. But so you got Harley Quinn, and surrounded by the rest of the Suicide Squad, and I'll try to name them: Killer Croc, Katana. Is that Rick Flag?
Yep.
Captain Boomerang?
Mm-hmm.
Some lady?
My guess for that was Enchantress. I think.
Could be. I don't know who the Shadow is. But really,
I don't know who that is either.
I don't know. But it's either way, it's John Romita Jr. It's awesome.
Suicide Squad at this time, this was like the Rebirth series. They were just on fire. I mean, it was Jim Lee and John Romita Jr. and Eddie Barrows and Tony Daniel, and then just a slew of all-star guest artists doing the backups about all different characters. You could not open an issue of that comic and see bad art if you tried.
And really effective inking from Richard Friend, who's not somebody I associate with Romita Jr., but did really good work here.
I miss Romita Jr. at DC.
Sorry, give him a job. Go get a job at DC and hire him. So we saw Romita Jr. This is Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna, a classic Romita Jr. Hanna on Spider-Man, and this is Spider-Man versus Madame Mask.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then nice Spidey action page. Cool. This is from last year. This is relatively recent. Still good. Romita Jr. still got it. That kid's going places, I'll tell you.
It's odd to think about how long he's been drawing comics, but he's been doing it for a long time.
We've talked about this before. His name is John Romita Jr. I still think of him as being like 25 years old, and he's like 65, 70, pushing 70 maybe. All right, let's go back in time a little bit. So this is Sam Queskin and Frank Giacoya. So this is from Submariner 62. So this is the first issue of Submariner that after Bill Everett died. So Bill Everett drew like about half of issue 61 before he died.
Four pages.
Oh,
we don't know in what order he did them, but he did 4 pages. They're not sequential. And then he died partway through working on that. It was finished by Romita, Mooney, and Mortimer, who had been helping him out with layouts already on that book. And then this is the splash page to the first issue after that.
Well, it's not
a splash page from the first issue after that. So the book
Great Prince Namor returns at the bottom.
And the book trying to figure out who's going to carry the mantle after the creator of Submariner died, and Questin really stepping up to the plate, showing he's got it.
It's really excellent. Namor and Namorita splash Namorita down here. Just beating up some underwater goofuses.
Not a lot of Queskin art on Comic Art Fans. I can say that.
I mean, how much did he even do in the 70s? It's interesting. Little ad for Dracula Lives #1 down at the bottom. That's cool. Little blurb. I love the little under the art blurbs. That even when it's just like continued on third page, like I love getting that stuff too. It's part of the charm of original comic art. Editors, I love an editor's note.
So for this one, we got the wraparound cover from the Master of Kung Fu Bleeding Black one-shot. I think it was a one-shot.
Like a graphic novel.
By the 2 out of 3 Brothers Day.
Yeah.
This is Dan and David, brothers of Gene Day, who so memorably worked on the Master of Kung Fu ongoing series. But this is just classic Shang-Chi action. I mean, great drawing, great inking, and really effective use of design here. I really love this piece. I am sad that one of you is going to take it from us because I like looking at it.
I think this was originally intended to be a Marvel graphic novel, and then got put out much like the Excalibur special was originally going to be a Marvel graphic novel, and then got released as its own standalone book instead. Did they just kill off the graphic novel?
The graphic novel line, it was weird. It sort of petered out, and then they just started putting out more like
standalone books,
like standalone prestige books. Like a lot of the Wolverine annuals were put out as like graphic novel prestige format books. Who knows why publishers do anything?
But yeah, it's a real nice work from a couple of guys who clearly know where they're coming from when it comes to Shang-Chi, having worked with their brother on in the sort of behind the scenes for so long. But yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I love the layout on that one. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it's a really well designed wraparound cover.
Next up is Steve Ditko working on his greatest creation.
The Speederball.
Yes, exactly. So this is from Marvel Superheroes, the 1990 series number 6. Ditko and Dan Adkins again inking where you wouldn't expect him to, but it's just a fantastic, like classic Ditko drawing. This panel here in particular just looks like a Ditko drawing in all the best ways. So if you're looking for Ditko, you can't go wrong with a Speedball page. They're kind of amazing.
I love the Ditko and his peculiarities. And Speedball is amongst the weirder characters he ever created, and for that I love him.
And Speedball is interesting in that, unlike a lot of later Ditko stuff, there's no sense of like
he's not lecturing.
It doesn't feel like bitter or preachy. It really is Ditko returning to his roots of like fun adventure stories about a teen hero in a way that you could tell, like, oh, he still enjoys doing this kind of stuff. These are ton comics.
Yep.
And you can see it on the page here.
Yeah, this is page 1 from this issue story. Cool.
Hey, and there's a DitcoCon in 10 days or so. No, it's on the 27th. So it's what 19 days away. Yeah, 3 weeks from now, in his birth town, Johnsonville or so. That's
cool.
Over in the
I'm glad, you know, it's funny because Ditko. Just quick Ditko aside. Oh my God, it's 10:30.
We got a big pile.
It's an increasingly smaller pile. You know, Ditko was famously private, and the family respected that until Ditko was no longer with us, and then they were like, all right, well, he's not here to complain about anything, so let's work on his legacy, and I think they're doing an excellent job with that.
Yeah, I went and saw that exhibit at that same location right as we were getting out of the pandemic. They did an art show there.
Yeah,
and it was pretty interesting to see.
And, things like working with Scott Dunbier for the Ditko Artist Edition, finally getting a Ditko Spider-Man Artist Edition, which is exciting. We scanned a bunch of stuff that we had here in the office for Scott just a couple weeks ago, so looking forward to that book a lot. Scott Dunbier is doing the Lord's work.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But speaking of a lot, I know we have a lot more art to get through, right?
Muscle through some Sal Buscema Captain America pages.
So this is all point on these, because these comics, I know I don't look it, but I grew up reading these. They're spectacular. So this is Captain America while he's undercover as a police officer, talking to this guy that he works with about who's been suspended while they're trying to figure out who this cowled commander is. This is the beginning of the sort of classic Englehart run that leads into the Secret Empire story. And it's just great work from Buscema, who's one of the quintessential Bronze Age artists.
Great Falcon and Redbird down at the bottom.
That's a very nice page.
And we got 3 pages now from 160. So we got this action sequence here, Cap and Falcon sort of tearing up these guys who were the last remaining of the henchmen of the cowled commander, and Cap just like demolishing big groups of them at a time. And then on this page, just throwing his shield and taking out one of the tires and ripping the door off of an armored car. And he is discovering now that he has developed superpowers after being hit by poison several issues earlier. Becomes
in issue 158, I think, or 157.
I think 157 or 158. And it's that superpower that he has developed that leads to, at the end here, when he uses it to defeat Solar. Here he is reflecting on how he's used his new superpowers to defeat this villain
in his first and only appearance.
Yes, and
first appearance page.
And Falcon sees this and realizes, like, Cap's super now. He doesn't need a sidekick. I'm going to go off and do my own thing. And this leads to him getting the upgrade with the wings. That's the sort of classic Falcon design that we think of now. So this is an important page in terms of Falcon's development. And these comics are just fantastic. I love these a lot. It's nice to see them.
I am offended by the comments.
I wasn't going to highlight it. I wasn't going to say it. I'm not going to ask who he thinks is which or anything like that either, guys. Not at all. So
he's shown I don't. Neither one of those is complimentary. I'm just saying.
No, not at all. Yeah.
As an artist, we're all familiar with Sean Murphy from the first Batman: The White Knight. I mean, nobody does environments better than Sean Murphy. It's extraordinary. I got Nightwing and Batgirl and Joker on this page,
and fingerprints and razor blades, like all the tricks. It's beautiful.
He's busting out all the techniques. There's some tall ships in the background of the top panel. I mean, because Sean Murphy's a masochist. But all drawn better than anybody has any rights to be able to draw those things in it, and I'm a little annoyed. But really beautiful. This is a Nick Cardy Superman Family cover. I got Superman up here. This is a stat. The original drawing is underneath it. It was just repositioned, but the original drawing is here. Jimmy rescuing some death creeps behind them. I mean, comics are fun.
It's just everything that you would love about like Hardy Superman cover. These ones get even more ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Lois Lane, Fugitive Mermaid, Super Baby, Titanic Tot, and yeah, you got just some Pete Ross and Lana Lang and all sorts of Supergirl, all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, from the 70s when comics were fun, and death creeps behind every corner.
Marcus, I see you're asking if there's any jocks. Stay tuned, we'll get there.
Maybe. Yeah. This is a fun one. This is, I believe, the first time a page by Ed Pister has ever come up to a public auction. So this is a Pister from X-Men Grand Design 2, the Grand Design Second Genesis.
So this is the Claremont era X-Men stories. When he covered those.
So in Pister, you know, for those who don't know, like famously created Hip Hop Family Tree and was wildly successful doing that, and then was allowed to play in Marvel Sandbox for a couple of brief X-Men miniseries, and another artist who sadly is no longer with us. But yeah, these you know, I bought these comics. I think they're a lot of fun. I like it when Marvel or DC allows sort of outside of the mainstream artists to play in their universe. And I think Pister and that whole generation of comics kayfabe guys, they love that era of comics. And even though they don't draw that way and they don't necessarily make comics that way, the love is apparent. And this is a great Wolverine and the Brood, super cool. You've got Storm and Colossus and Cyclops and Kitty. It's awesome. And again, I don't think that there's ever been a public sale of a Pister page before.
There's also some interesting technique going on here. The panel borders and the lettering are on the back, and then just kind of got digitally dropped in over the appropriate sections. So it's an interesting sort of modern technique, but still doing it all on the board as a real sort of alternative all-in-one cartoonist would.
But no, Pister was a great talent, and the whole situation around his passing was unfortunate. And that's I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and Eddie Pecan is this weekend, as Stingray mentioned, and I will tell you this, Micah. I created an account on ComicConnect to bid on that piece. So yeah,
I can't believe you had to create an account to do that, Bill.
I had to create an account. I was a little either maybe I lost my login, I don't know, but I had to go in and actually go through the process of creating an account about a week ago to put it in.
You could have contacted me to find out.
I probably should have, because now I'm in there twice, right?
I had to look up his address to send him your drawing, and it wasn't in there. So
there you go.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, then I didn't have one, but yeah, no, I wanted to get. I'm going to put a couple more times on it.
We got more stuff to talk about, like this awesome Murphy Anderson DC Comics Presents page with Superman, Solomon Grundy, and Swamp Thing, 3 characters that you never thought would share a page. But here they are.
I see one more Superman, Swamp Thing, Solomon Grundy comic. I think I might be done with comics.
There might be one more, actually, but this one is fantastic. You see Murphy Anderson doing Swamp Thing, which is unexpected, to say the least.
And Grundy, which is totally expected.
Yeah, and Superman, which is the most expected of all, but he absolutely nails it, as he always did. Like, this is just a great page.
It really is. Each panel drawn separately and pasted down for some reason.
We've been trying to figure out exactly how this page was created, and I'm not entirely sure what the
I will say that this page has sold before in years ago, and they didn't know either. So it's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
It was clearly done at the time, so it's however Murphy Anderson felt like doing it. So pencils endings by Anderson. So I don't know.
Not like we haven't seen weird stuff like that before, but
collecting
it is peculiar. It's a gorgeous page. That last panel is incredible.
It really is fantastic.
Holy smokes.
Some rare Gene Colan romance art. This is from Marvel's brief foray into romance comics. This is Our Love Story #4. Gene Colan's romance art is very little of it, and he was very good at it.
And inks by Sal Buscema, who really brought a sheen to this, like he did when he inked his brother.
I think this is like 1969. I think this is one of the early 1970, early Sal Buscema inking jobs, which is cool.
It's a really beautiful page. Mm-hmm. I love the like DC and Marvel romance art, and you just don't see that much of it. So it's nice to see this one.
You can talk about Gambit. So actually, not Gambit. It's not Gambit.
This is an Elektra page from Elektra #3. This was by Mike Deodato and Scott Koblish, sort of classic 90s penciler for team. Deodato just draws great action and like big people attacking each other, and some nice silhouette stuff here.
Like, he drew a good Elektra.
And these comics written by Peter Milligan.
Guy who isn't Gambit.
Yeah, that isn't Gambit. Don't tell anyone that's Gambit.
Or do. I don't really care.
Yeah. But it's a great page, great balance of black and white here. I like this one a lot.
This is a really beautiful piece. So this is Frank Thorne. This is from the Gita, the Sword of Eros portfolios. This is the portfolio plate #1. So this is if you bought that portfolio, this is the plate that would have been signed by Thorne. The plate is called The Beasts of the Zion. Or no, I'm sorry. We use very small typeface. The Beasts of the Banks of the Zor. I got 2 words wrong. The Banks of the Zor. So it's you got Gita here in her normal state of completely naked. And a bunch of great Frank Thorne creatures. It's really cool. It's a beautiful drawing. Frank Thorne was an amazing artist. And Gita, I think more than Red Sonja, is where he did his best work because it was his own thing. And Red Sonja is great too.
Drawing naked women, and he could not do that with Red Sonja.
No.
Those were family comics.
No, not. Frank Thorne did like drawing naked people. That's for sure.
He was kind of a dirty old man.
I mean,
dressed as a wizard.
I've seen pictures of him at conventions with, was it Wendy Pini dressed up as in skimpy outfits? Was it Wendy Pini or was it somebody else? I don't know. Yeah, right. That's what I thought.
All right, we got this Justice League of America 21 page by Sikowski and Bernard Sachs.
The very first Crisis.
It is the Crisis, and I think to this day still the best Crisis.
The first Crisis, the first ever multiverse in comics, like conceptually the first multiverse.
Well, the Flash 123 introduced the multiverse to allow the Golden Age and Silver Age versions of the Flash to encounter each other. Here they are in this panel here, which is kind of incredible. And then they just kept playing with this. Broom and Gardner Fox, who sort of created all that Silver Age DC stuff, kept using that and expanding it, and eventually it evolved into a full-blown Crisis in the multiverse, which first happened here.
Yep.
This is your first Justice League, Justice Society crossover, and it's every bit as cool. I think it's going to be just beautiful drawing by.
And this page has characters from both timelines, right?
Yeah, so you got your Silver Age Flash and your Golden Age Flash. You got your Dr. Alchemy and Felix Faust and Kronos, and then you got your the Fiddler. Is he called the Fiddler? I don't know all of these Golden Age characters 100%, but you get your Justice Society villains and your Justice League villains. It's cool.
And both Flashes, which is awesome. Real cool. Real cool.
Crisis on Multiple Earths, better than Crisis on Infinite Earth. You won't change my mind on that one.
It was a beautiful little Ben Oliver illustration of the Joker. We're just going to cruise through some stuff here. Got
Art Adams.
Got a few pieces by Art Adams. Start with that one.
This one is super cool. It's from Hellboy Seed of Destruction #2. It's
the second ever Monkey Man and O'Brien backup.
And pencils and inks by Adams, really sort of identifiably Adams. And it's got a big gorilla. It's the best thing that Adams does, gorillas. And
none of the Monkey Man and O'Brien stories have ever been collected, which is a real shame. It just, because they're so good. It's more Adams here. This is from the Gen X, Gen 13 crossover. So this is a nice page with a bunch of I think this is Gen X characters on this page. Yeah. So really, again, Art Adams being Art Adams. This is inks by Art Adams.
No, that one I think is
Nope.
inked by.
Nope.
That's
wrong.
From when Micah entered the wrong information.
I did do that.
It is inked by what's his name? Garner. Right. Alex Garner, who did inks on the Gen 13 comics of sort of blending of the styles right there.
This is a weird one. This is a really cool one. So I instantly recognized this character when I was shown this drawing, and it took me a minute to figure out why. So this was done for the, I believe,
1993. The Bloodlines crossover. It was the annuals all crossed over at DC.
And so this is a case where Art Adams designed all the sort of creatures that were used in that series. And so he didn't draw any of the actual books, but he did design the creatures. And I was like, I know that creature. They were originally based on the 7 Deadly Sins. The names were all changed
to the much more recognizable Glance in this case.
But it's a really beautiful drawing by Adams. A really great creature design, and got the Flash in there for scale.
Bonus Flash.
But yeah, that was a memorable crossover event for me, to the point where it's like I recognize that weird skull monster. But yeah, cool. And Art Adams he's the best.
We got this really cool. Talk about Marvel graphic novels all night. We got a page from a Marvel graphic novel here. This is the Daredevil Black Widow Abattoir graphic novel, written, I believe, by Starlin.
I don't remember.
I believe by Starlin. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And art by Joe Chiodo, who memorably did a lot of 90s colors, but here did all of the work, beautifully painted on the boards here. This is towards the end of the book, one of the last pages, where the villain kisses Black Widow. You got some lady kissing here, and then dies.
The Stingray just pointed out in the chat that Art Adams character, that creature appeared in the Demon Annual that was also Hitman's first appearance.
Yeah, that was that.
So thank you, Neal.
That was Hitman was introduced in the Bloodlines cross.
You're earning your free Stingray drawing. Also, if he's watching, I'd like to also pile on and say happy birthday to Lance Swartz.
Yes, happy birthday, Lance.
And again, we didn't talk about Dan, but that I don't know if we have time for that. But that's tragic. He was one of the best.
Agreed.
So,
no, we all.
We want to let that go. I meant
he was a key figure in our hobby
for
the last several years.
We would just see him around at events in the city all the time,
and he had great taste.
He did.
Yeah.
He turned more collectors on to new artists than I think anybody that I'm aware of in the last few years. And fortunately, there's a lot of people who will carry the torch for that. But Dan T was amazing at discovering.
No, and he was so nice and genuine.
Really supportive of the local comic scene as well. Like you'd see him at just like small, lower level events just because he cared.
All right, let's go. We don't have that many left.
Okay.
All right, we got two pages by Don Rosa from The Life and Times of Uncle Scrooge. These are both from chapter 2, the Master of the Mississippi, where he works on the riverboat that explodes. Yep. So Beagle Boys are trying to rob this riverboat, and then it explodes. and then that's
just a great cartooning from Don Rosa here, channeling both his underground compatriots and influences, and his ultimate influence, which is Carl Barnes,
the second best artist to ever draw Duck Comics. And I think that's pretty high praise, because the first one is going to be the best artist who's ever drawn comics. So that's pretty high praise from me. Don Rosa's great. Fred Harper's Marvel Comics Presents number 153 cover, Vengeance. Bam, there's a couple other Harper Vengeance pieces.
There's an interior page and an unpublished cover. We sold those.
It's a really wonderful Catwoman illustration by Brian Stelfreeze. Like really, I love the way it's kind of intentionally unfinished. Like it creates a really nice aesthetic. And Brian is and continues to be fantastic, especially with his commission work. He's just one of the best.
Marcus, if you're still watching, here's the jock that you were promised. This great Daredevil illustration of him. A little bit of color, a little bit of red in the body up on top of a telephone pole here. So what is everybody thinking? $300,000 maybe?
Yeah, something like that. That's the going rate for jock drawings now, right? I'll put some bats in it.
Published it. Sure.
This is a pretty great piece. This is the cover to Paper Girls number 18 by Cliff Chang. Big fan of this comics. Actually just bought a Paper Girls page myself like last week, which is a nice check for me. I've been looking for a long time. But not as nice as this cover, but I love this comic. I love Cliff. I think it's great. Big fan of Paper Girls. No, if you haven't read it, you should, because it's real good. It's only 30 issues. It's short.
More Cliff Chang here. This is more up my street. This is the Batman the Shadow #1 crossover comic. Variant cover by Cliff Chang. Really great sort of designy take on the overlap between the Shadow and Batman here. Shadow is one of my favorite characters. I love everything about this.
Mm-hmm. Harry got to meet Alec Baldwin.
I did. Some of you may have seen that.
I saw that photograph.
Speaking of the Demon and Hitman, this is not from the annual, but this is an early Hitman appearance from the Demon number 44. Really good Hitman page by McRae. This is because it's McRae, he worked weird, so you get pencils on one board, inks on the other, but both by McRae. Got a couple here from the official handbook to the Marvel Universe. We got this one, Bob Wyachek pencils and Joe Rubenstein inks. It's a Paladin. It's just a great image from the 1983. What did they just say? Paladin's going to appear in live action.
He's going to be in the Spider-Man movie.
I don't remember.
One of the. No. It's the Vision Quest TV show.
Yeah. So Paladin soon to make his debut in live action.
Paladin stocks are up.
Yeah.
And then this one is interesting. It's Dave Gibbons and then Joe Rubenstein inks, of course. The Dreadnought from the deluxe Marvel handbooks from 1985.
You know what that guy looks like? Looks like a Micronaut.
It does look a little bit like a Micronaut. He's not small though, he's big. Key difference. But Dave Gibbons Marvel art, very interesting. There's not a huge amount of it.
Nope.
So it's very cool that he contributed to this.
All right, this is George Perez. This is from Avengers 14. This is from 1998. This is the Curt Busiek Perez Avengers. On this page features both Busiek and Perez. And Perez is actually drawing the bottom of the panel above him.
And it also features the world's most awkward family dinner, where Scarlet Witch and her ex-husband and her ex-husband's brother, who's her new boyfriend, all have it out with, I believe, is it Beast there?
Sure. Yes.
It is an awkward conversation, to say.
And the word balloons are all recreations. They're on an acetate.
Yeah, if you want to see it without that, it's on the listing. This is a really exciting one. These went up recently, but they sold out immediately. This is Absolute Wonder Woman #4 page by Hayden Sherman. Been a fan of Hayden's for a really long time. They're fantastic. And Absolute Wonder Woman is just their time to shine. This page has Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor.
Beautiful design. I love the layout.
Excellent layouts, really nice inking. If you missed out on these when they first went up for sale, you got your chance to get one now, and it's a good one.
Got a couple more pages from The Last Ronin by the Escorza brothers. This is a nice page with, is that Michelangelo? Is he the one that lived? I don't know. I think it's Michelangelo. A nice turtle page from The Last Ronin. This is really pretty, good drawing. And then another page from earlier in the issue.
#3.
But still real nice, real pretty drawing, like a little Blade Runner-esque. I dig it.
This is Greg Capullo pencils, Todd McFarlane inks, sort of half splash page. This is the Malebolgia here on the side, and then
early-ish one. It's issue what?
Issue 26. So relatively early Capullo, within the first 8 issues or so, I think. And then this whole white space would have been text, kind of like a late-run Cerebus. I think that was the idea.
Yeah.
The issue is actually, I think, dedicated to Dave Sim.
So this is page 1 from the first part of Frank Quietly's Blackheart. This is from Dark Horse Presents, number 91. This, I believe, is the first page to the first comic ever published in America by Frank Quietly. And I think that's awesome. And inks by Quietly, which is incredibly rare. you know, he's just one of the best artists to come along in comics in the past 30 years. And this is the very first page of American Comics he ever drew.
And some top-notch smoke on this page. Really good drawing.
I mean, quietly doing really good drawing. I don't know about that. No, and you know, this is early. He would probably look at that and be embarrassed, and it's still incredible.
Got a couple here. Don Newton pencils, Kurt Schaffenberger inks from World's Finest 255 and 257, featuring Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr., as well as special guest origin story of Bullet Man and Bullet Girl. Just great late 70s DC art featuring the sort of newly integrated Fawcett characters. I love these pages. I like Don Newton a lot.
Let's just burn through a few here. This is Nestor Redondo and Redondo Studios. This is an exceptional monster splash by Redondo. This is the Unexpected, number 185. It's got a big octopus on it, man. What else do you need?
One of the great monster artists in comics history.
It's a Chris Bachalo splash page from Spider-Man Deadpool. You got Deadpool riding a shark like he's riding a missile in Dr. Strangelove. Not an accident. Definitely on purpose.
Pencils and inks on separate boards.
Yes, pencils and inks on separate boards, but both included. Very cool. Deadpool on a shark. More Bachalo. This is Age of Apocalypse. Got a great big image of Cyclops. Bachalo was fantastic. This is another one. This is 8 pencils and inks by Bachalo. This is that's uncommon. This is Ultimate X-Men number 19. This is Professor X and Moira McTaggart at the funeral of the Ultimate Psylocke, which is sad.
And Professor X in this panel is announcing to Moira that he is disbanding the X-Men as soon as they get back to New York.
I don't think I've ever seen a full page inked by Bachalo, so that's uncommon and kind of cool. That's a nice Ron Garney Silver Surfer page. Nice big cool image of Surfer.
Another great Spawn page.
Javi Fernandez King Spawn splash. More Captain America for people who like Captain America.
This is the Fear Itself page where Steve Rogers first puts on the costume again. So Winter Soldier was killed before. This is the first time you see him back in the suit.
Right. So this is Steve Rogers putting the suit on for the first time since he got killed. There's another Imminent, New X-Men, the Great Iron Fist page. Two, count them, 2 fan-freaking-tastic Gru pages by Sergio Aragonés. These are both from Gru 71 from 1990. I mean,
it's Sergio Aragonés.
Yeah, it was his birthday like yesterday, so show some love. A couple of really pretty DK Ruan pages. One from Shang-Chi, one from Spider-Verse.
They both have Spider-Man.
But they both have Spider-Man on them. One has Daredevil on it, and one has Shang-Chi on it. And they're both really, really pretty. This is an artist to watch. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at these in 5 years ago. I'm like, man, I would have wished I would have bought one of those 5 years ago. This is the Mike Bosberg X-Men annual page of Dazzler. Cool Dazzler. Eric Larson, inked by Sal Buscema from the Defenders series that they did together. It's just awesome. I love the middle panel, middle panel creates the bottom panel with the whole team on it. It's super cool.
That is a good page.
Real pretty Michael Cho illustration of Daredevil in the classic yellow costume. Michael Cho also just fantastic. I got a couple of real good Archie pages. Those could real briefly show some Archie pages. This is a Dan DiCarlo, Betty and Veronica splash page. Betty and Veronica in bathing suits riding a boat. Who doesn't like Betty and Veronica in bathing suits? This one is Harry Lucy. This is Archie throwing a beach ball at a girl he thinks is Betty's butt, but it's not Betty, and she gets mad.
And more importantly, her boyfriend gets mad, and it ruins Archie's day.
Exactly. I love Harry Lucy is one of my favorite Archie artists. I think that page is great. We've got a 2-page. This is a 2-page story by Bill Vigoda. I learned recently the brother of classic TV comedian Abe Vigoda. I had no idea that they were related. I think that's fantastic. It's a DiCarlo cover from the 70s.
And there's a ton more Archie stuff by all of those artists. Definitely go check it out. Browse the rest of the auction.
We got, it's late, it's after 11 o'clock. We can show nudity. This is a really beautiful Stan Zillian painting.
It's Diane from At the Earth's Core or the Pellucidar.
But really beautiful painting by St. Julian. Dinosaurs and naked ladies. What more do you need?
We've got two really great Ryan Brown paintings, one of the Joker, one of the Hulk. Just really great angry Hulk, crazy Joker.
Ryan Brown really draws a crazy Joker. I'm worried about his mental state. Because I've seen a few Jokers by Ryan Brown, and they're all crazy.
Yeah, he paints him with an edge, that's for sure.
This is timely because there's a TV show out that's real good. This is John Bolton's prelim to the cover of Aliens Outbreak. It's a beautiful alien drawing by one of the preeminent comic book alien artists. Just an exceptional drawing. And if you haven't seen the TV show, it's real good. Got a little Batman illustration by Enrico Marini. Just another fantastic artist. A beautiful little painting by Marini. This is Mark Bodie doing his dad's Vaughn's classic Cheech Wizard. This was packaging for a Cheech Wizard vinyl toy. Super cool. Love me some Cheech Wizard, and honestly, both of the Bodies. They can give it to both of them.
Got a cool Nick Pitara commission of Einstein killing Oppenheimer from Manhattan Project. Honestly, it looks like it could be a cover, but it's a commission. But really, really high quality, very good.
Yep. We're almost done.
Jay Lee pencil cover for A Vicious Circle by Matson Tomlin and Lee Bermejo. Just classic Jay Lee, real good designy and sort of ethereal imagery here.
This is a variant cover from, coincidentally, this was not unrelated, but this is by my good friend Ethan Young. I've known Ethan for a very long time. And this is the first piece of art of his I've ever been able to sell, so I told him I'd do him right by it. Ethan's good people. I'm trying to convince him to go to OAX, but he doesn't like to travel. And he's a great artist. He's been making a name for himself, and this is a really, really beautiful cover. This was a variant cover to Grimm #8. This was a Boom Studios book. But Ethan's been doing a lot. He's been doing a lot of variant covers for Marvel and DC, working on his own books. A talent to watch, just for people who don't know.
We've got a question about that alien piece by
Not familiar with it.
It's not a panel page. It is a prelim to a cover for an aliens book.
Yep.
So it is a prelim for a published piece. It's very cool. We've got here Bernie Wrightson pencils and inks to a Clive Barker's Hellraiser #1. This is the second story, I believe, in the first issue of the epic anthology series about the Hellraiser characters. Just great late period work by Wrightson here. Looks exactly like all of his other sort of later evolved artwork. It's very nice. I like this page a lot.
Some underground art for people who care. This is Justin Green, the creator of the classic Beaky Brown Meets the Holy Virgin Mary and Robert Crumb's favorite cartoons. So this is a one-pager that Green did for a series called the New Nickel Comics Library. They were released as like individual pages that you collect and put in a book. That clearly didn't last a long time, but this is one that did get published. And Green is one of the basically invented modern autobiographical comics with Beaky Brown Meets the Holy Virgin Mary. And this is awesome. It's from like 1971 or something like that. It's very cool. Green's art is uncommon. You don't see it out in the wild very often.
We've got this pencil illustration of The Bride of Frankenstein by Basil Gogos, who famously drew The Bride of Frankenstein on the cover of an issue of Famous Monsters of Filmland. This is a very similar image. It was probably drawn from his original cover to that issue, but Gogos is essentially the monster artist when you're talking about those monster magazines. So it's cool to get the opportunity to sell this image of the bride here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this great Marvel versus System trading card art from the Marvel Knights expansions. Brian Hitch pencils and inks, which again is relatively unusual. Shang-Chi, just great dynamic image of Shang-Chi kicking. And then last but not least, we've got a couple of Golden Age curiosities here. These are by John Casco,
who is an artist I'd never heard of.
Yeah, he is not often credited, but you can spot his style, especially knowing these were his. They're both signed, these two pages.
We're not clear if these pages were ever published or not. There's no other identifying markings on them.
But the characters are identifiable. This page here on Micah's side is characters from Atlas and Timely's Georgie comics. And this page over here next to me is characters from the Timely series Tessie the Typist. So we've got some classic Golden Age Marvel, like teen humor romance books.
But this page especially is just really beautiful drawing.
And pencils, ink, letters, and hand-colored pages. Probably tryout pages, but maybe published and colored later.
But he did definitely work. We did a little research, and he definitely did draw comics. It's just not clear if these pages are published.
He was part of, I believe, the Chesler studio, and did some work at Timely. His style is identifiable in some Georgie and some Tessie published comics. I just wasn't able to match these pages specifically to any of those published stories.
But they're cool and rare, probably. I mean, every piece of art is equally rare, I suppose. There's only one of all of them, and that's pretty much it. That's our preview for today, and only like 5 minutes over. So
we got through a lot.
Yeah. So the auction is now a week from Thursday on September 18th, beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So next Thursday at 7 p.m., all this stuff kicks off, and it'll be exciting to see where it goes. As always, both of us are reachable. And, pretty much, however, my email is on the screen. Harry's email is basically the same. It's just Harrison K instead of, MMEN. But our phone number is on our website. We're here. We'll be here during the auction as always.
Yeah, we'll be here until the last piece closes. So if you're calling in with any questions or have questions about the pieces while you're bidding, we will be here to answer those. We are here to make it as easy as possible for you.
Absolutely. And again, the next auction is shaping up to be another banger, like a real good so far. And
we got a question real quick about the auction. It is on ComicConnect.com. If you go there and you register right now, you can get on our mailing list, and you can save pieces in the current auction to your watch list. And that will help you keep it all sort of streamlined when the auction is running next week.
Or, feel free to give us a call at the office or send me or Harry an email, and we're happy to walk you through the process.
Yeah, we don't have the time now to go through all the particulars, but we're around. Please get in touch. We would love to help you.
Yeah, and again, as always, if you see something here that you like, and maybe it's something that's, maybe a little more money than you want to spend, most pieces offer time payments. If it doesn't say on the page, you can reach out and ask, and we are happy to accept future consignments towards payment. So there's all sorts of different ways to get things. It's my job. What kind of makes this job fun is getting art to people who love it, and any way I can help figure out how to make that happen is fine by me.
And we will be at New York Comic Con. I just want to make sure to hit this point. We will be there selling art and comics. We will be there accepting consignments, and we will be there promoting the next auction. So,
our display of the next auction at New York Comic Con, if it comes together as nicely as I think it's gonna be impressive.
So come by if you're going to be at the show. If you want to pick up anything that you win in the auction, we can help you with that. If you want to bring us anything, either to help pay for something you win, or if you're just tired of looking at it and want to turn it into something else, we can help you with that too. Yeah. We're going to be at booth 3535. I'm sure you'll hear that a million times.
If you've been to New York Comic Con before, where it's our usual spot. And then the week after that, we'll be in Baltimore. Because, why not?
Just leave everything on the truck and take it to the next spot.
Honestly, that's part of why we agreed to do Baltimore a week later, is because, I don't know, the inventory's already ready. It's not like you have to do that twice. It's just getting down to Baltimore, which is honestly not that big a deal. We drove to Charlotte for Heroes Con, so driving to Baltimore is nothing.
No, that's yeah.
The drive to Charlotte is a lot, but that shows a lot of fun. So I don't know. And the company
thinks I'll be at both. I will not be at either one, Marcus, but thank you for that.
Well, we hope to see you there, Marcus. you can hang out with Timothy Chalamet.
I'll be around the corner from Micah at booth 3636, selling comics
and art. I'll be working at the ComicConnect booth where we will have nothing for sale, which is fine.
But a lot of great stuff to look at.
There will be a lot of cool stuff to look at. Around literally caddy corner from the stuff for sale, and not far. But again, thanks, Bill, for hosting it. Oh,
I said I'm going to read that Justin Green page you have.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
and it's all contained. I love a one-page strip because you can hang it on the wall and you're missing nothing.
Yeah, no, it looks really cool.
Yeah, and I
haven't seen a page of his stuff available before.
No, I mean every once in a while, but not often. And the Binky Brown story is still complete somewhere. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I know who used to have it, but that's never been broken up. So those, the most desirable work by Green is not available at all. And I think it would sell for a lot. Again, it's the comic that it's one of the ingredients that made Robert Crumb so great. Is that he read that and then he was like, I'm going to start doing more honest autobiography, and that kind of changed his whole trajectory too.
Mm-hmm.
All these little things that go into making the things that we all love. But anyway, thanks again, everybody. I know it's getting late, so I appreciate everybody who sticks with us through this whole thing. I appreciate everybody who pops in and out, and I appreciate everybody who hasn't even watched this yet and will watch it later. It's all good. It's all good.
That is true. Yeah. So thanks for hanging out with us this evening, everybody. We always we do appreciate it. Just like Micah was saying, the auction begins closing next Thursday. There's the Thursday after next at 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern, September 18th. Again, if you have any questions, all that information is on the website, and you can call us, email us. We are happy to provide any information.
I'm sure there'll be some sort of reminder in the CAF Daily email next Thursday.
I believe so. I sent one out today, about it. But yeah, so just so everybody knows, tomorrow we do have a show at 8 o'clock. We usually don't, but tomorrow we will have a show at 8 o'clock. There'll be some OAX announcements, some pre-OAX opportunities.
Oh, and always looking forward to that, Bill. It's still 5 months away, and looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Never been before, but I've heard only good things. Excited to meet some people who will be there who I have not met at other shows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you're both going to be there, and the whole crew. Well, I'm sure Vinny will be there as well.
He will indeed.
Presenting. Yes. So yes, tomorrow at 8 o'clock we'll have a special show, and then I will have an interview after that at 9 o'clock. But yeah.
Is it a surprise interview?
No, just a collector interview, but always fun. As somebody who I actually have not talked to too much, but they've been around CAF for quite some time, and Patrick Wedge, he works a lot with Jimmy and Amanda. He's the guy who's always helping them in their booth.
Yeah.
He's been a collector for over 20 plus years, and so he's got some awesome stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping to kind of.
I love that you're still doing collector interviews. I think that's kind of what birthed this whole channel.
Pretty much, yeah. How do we?
It's been almost 5 years since I did mine.
That's true.
I was thinking about that recently. It was like late 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we didn't start them until the summer of 2020. The interviews. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah,
right.
It's like more power to you, Bill. Sticking with it.
Thank you. Still having fun after all these years.
Next in beer. You're doing the Lord's work, Bill.
All right, everybody. Good evening, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.